What do you think about Kanye West? And because during his tour he brought out this guy that was supposed to be Jesus, and he was having a conversation, whatever.
What?
Yes. So then, so then they were like, what do you think about it? Whatever. And in my, this is just me thinking. I'm really listening because I want to see if they'll stick to what they know is right, or trying to compromise with not
just
trying to be
famous and all that.
So some people, I'll say 2 out of the, it was like 5 of them. Yeah. 2 out of the 5 actually, said to the right.
Only 2?
Only 2. Because, 2 of them weren't there, but the other ones that were there, it was 4 of them there. 2 out of the 4, kind of was like hitting it on the head, was like, let's pray for him. They didn't say that. I mean, they said it in a good, they said it in a nice way or whatever.
To try not to rip them up.
Yeah.
Right.
Or whatever. And not trying to be so judgmental or whatever, but still, just.
Still hold to their convictions.
Yeah.
But the
other 2, it was like, oh, he's just creative. He's a genius. He's an artist. He's a genius. He's an artist. He's a genius. It's, it's just, him being an artist. And I'm like,
it's a thin line between genius and madness.
Some people are very, very artistic, very, whatever. But then there's a line. There's a line. You bring out some white guy that's supposed to be Jesus. You think you're having a conversation with Jesus.
Creative doesn't mean blasphemous.
Yeah.
Creative doesn't have to mean sick and twisted. Creative doesn't mean
leather jogging pants.
It doesn't. I mean, and we have to realize that we do that. We chalk that up to them being this. If he's wearing
leather jogging pants. Who wears leather jogging pants?
Suits and he's just. That's just him.
You wear leather jogging pants?
That was great. He did. I watched one of his live tours, and he had a whole bunch of females carrying him. He had a cross on.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he had a whole bunch of naked females carrying him.
Like he's
with the crown.
So he think he like Xerxes or something like that?
He really does believe. He believes he's.
He calls himself. It's like sometimes he does represent him or try to put himself up there like he's God. Like
when he made that song Stronger. No, power. No one man should have all that power.
Yeah.
Basically saying God shouldn't be the one to rule everybody, tell everybody what to do.
Like he really does put his God's not a man. That.
Huh?
But God's not a man.
Like there's this there's this comparison video
I don't listen to a lot of
where
music.
they compared one of his original interviews, like one of his first interviews when he did his first album, to an interview he did recently, like a couple months ago. He does not look the same. He does not talk the same. He does not sound the same. Like pretty much from him being Kanye West hood, talking about he's trying to help the community, doing all that.
Right.
Talking about how he's so glad that he is with Kim right now, and the Kardashian family has just helped him so much in discovering the genius in him. And he's like crazy.
This sounds like something.
But it's a lot of artists like that when they first start out to what they are now. It's just something totally different, and it's like, what is happening? But like you said, like we buy into it.
Right. I mean, he's on his cover. He's on his cover with a crown of thorns, and blood comes streaming down. This is the one before Jesus, where he's on the album with demon women and their red eyes and tongues coming out and and tails, and he's sitting on a throne. And this is before Jesus. He was already starting to go somewhere. But my point is, somebody has exposed him to that.
Yep.
That's one. And 2, when we support that, we at some point sign into it, we buy into it. And 3, none of us is who we were not too long ago.
Everyone's in flux.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Everyone's in flux.
I know I'm not who I was last year. Right now. Just so happens we're making a good shift. But there are many people. Here it is. This is scripture. Broad is the road that leads to destruction. There are lots of people. Narrow is the way and straight is the gate that leads to life. But broad is the way. And a lot of people are on this road to destruction because they're changing, but something has pulled and influenced them to turn on this direction and this path versus this. And every one of us has a decision every day. How do we make these decisions? We make these decisions based on our values. What do you value? It's not hard to make a decision when you know your values and when you really truly stick by your values. our problem comes in and our decision making gets tough. Our decision making process gets tainted and gets confused and gets our heads all foggy and cloudy when we don't really know what our values are, or we're not really true to our values. And then here comes a decision, and because we're not really sold right here, and maybe if I just do a little bit, maybe if I just try this, well, maybe that's not so bad. Can I give you a very, very benign example, meaning a very nice one?
Sure.
I'm a 4th grade teacher, right? Mm-hmm. It's Christmas. Santa or not to Santa, okay? This is a real debate right now. You wouldn't believe it. It's hilarious because the kids are like, you don't even realize there is no Santa Claus, but there are some die-hard Santa fans, 9 and 10 years old, and they are like, let me tell you something. God gives Santa the power to come in.
Is there anything wrong with letting them believe that to a certain extent?
Well, let's talk about our values. Let's talk about our values.
I can't believe
That might be the episode of Boondocks.
But you know how you said 6.
You
not
said
4th
6,
grade.
not 4th grade.
4th grade, you talk about 9 and 10 years old. Well, let's talk about it. Yes.
My mother crushed my whole
So in going along with that, so you know how is it compromising, like, you know, when people be like happy holidays, and you know, like,
That's compromise.
you know that you not saying that you don't believe in Christmas or whatever, but if somebody just says happy holidays to you, are you
Happy holidays.
am I just supposed to be like Merry Christmas?
I do. I just
go
Merry
back.
Christmas. I just say because by the time, if you saying, generally when you say that, either you walking away or you just walking up.
That's what I said.
Most people don't have a
Like when I'm helping
You just
people, they
said
be
Merry
like happy
Christmas. I said
holidays. I be like same to you. And I'm just let it go. But I'm not really thinking.
Most of us don't debate that. They say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. You know, people say Happy Holidays. The people at the cash register are gonna tell you because their bosses are telling you.
Yep.
You don't say Merry Christmas. You say Happy Holidays or enjoy yourself or enjoy the season.
Enjoy
blah, blah.
yourself.
A lot of times they don't really want you to say Merry Christmas. So that's just one of my little. Quiet
You can say
rebellions.
anything but
If
Merry
somebody
Christmas.
says-
No, that's not
But this is the thing, Xmas. I'm coming
Xmas,
back
I
to
remember
Santa.
that.
I'm coming back to Santa. I promise. But watch this.
Xmas.
I don't do
Xmas. But
Xmas.
can I tell you?
For real.
No,
I promise
I don't go that far. I don't do Xmas. I
Merry
say
Christmas.
I'm going to mess y'all up with Xmas right now.
They did this to me in elementary school. I'm not looking. I'm not looking.
X. Let me tell you.
Yes,
This
I'm not
is
looking.
English language, and I just learned it because I was reading about it. Because I love to kind of discover things. You won't believe this. This changed my mind this week. Xmas. I'm like, Xmas. Ain't no Xmas. It's Christmas. You know. I was like, everybody's saying Xmas. Well, this in I believe they said in the is it Greek? In Greek is Kai. Right?
Yeah.
Hold on, about to mess you up. There's this word like XI something. You'll see it sometimes. It's like X of all. It's like a long word. That actually is Christ. It stands for Christ. That word that starts with an X in Greek stands for Christ. So to shorten this and the celebration of this long X word, I'll find it for you. They said Xmas. So this is really supposed to be short for Christmas. I didn't know that. I thought people were taking Christ. Well, because of the society we live in, they took something that was supposed to be a good thing and used it kind of to make it bad. But the origin of Xmas actually is short for Christmas or Christmas. But because nobody wanted to say Christ anyway, and most of us didn't know this, I just learned this week. Xmas has now taken a kind of an offensive thing for Christians because we didn't know that the beginning of it really was Christmas. This was really short for Christ. But because the world, they didn't know it either. They just know I don't care about Christ, so I'm going to take the Christ out and I'm going to use the Xmas thing. They don't know they're actually saying Christmas. And we didn't know
That they're actually saying
that
Christmas.
they're actually saying Christmas. Do you see what I'm saying? I just found that out. Just on a word study that I was doing.
I think I want to stick with Christmas.
I'm still going to say Christmas because back then in its original form, Xmas was good. Today, even though the original form is good, it's used in a derogatory, in a bad way. So
change.
I'm not even going to let my good be evil spoken of, and I want to say Christ and Jesus every time I get a chance. So I'm going to say Christmas anyway. It
Happy
doesn't take
birthday,
away.
Jesus.
But I know now the root of Xmas wasn't originally supposed to be bad. It was actually supposed to be good. And this is like the more we study and find out, the real my values say I want you to know I'm a Christian. It's kind of uncomfortable and awkward sometimes when you're tired and you just don't feel like getting into a debate. But my values say I want to identify with Christ. And we don't hear his name outside of church a whole lot. For real. We don't hear his name. So every time I get a chance to say his name, even when the lady at the cash register says Merry Xmas or Merry Happy Holidays or 'tis the season, you know, I say Merry Christmas.
We hear Christ a lot in the house.
You see what I'm saying? And I get my groceries and I go and I got you.
Like,
You know, I heard
Lord
that.
Jesus Christ.
When my coworker was like, you know, Happy Holidays. He was like, no, how about we say Merry Christmas? And I was like, he was
And
white.
wow,
You know,
just go
I was
ahead and
like,
say it.
okay.
What are they gonna say? You're a Christian.
Get him.
Yes, this is correct.
And
Other news?
on my contract for employment, on the papers y'all signed, it says that you do not discriminate based on race, color, sexual preference, blah blah blah, sexual orientation, and religion. So if they try to make it a little uncomfortable for you and your workplace becomes hostile, you have a lawsuit on your hands. Just like the homosexual who doesn't want any. Just like the black man in the white institute. Do you see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I think, and I've said this the last couple of weeks, sometimes because we don't really step out on our values, Christians become unoffendable. People just say whatever they want to us, and we don't say anything. We act like, you know, I'm meek and something should get under your skin. You know what I mean? That don't mean you have to go, you know, fight the power, hate this establishment. That's what the wrong with the man. What, you trying to keep me down? You know, we don't have to go all hard, but you can stand on your values. Again, here it is. Disney said that. That's where I heard that. Roy Disney says this. He says when you know what your values are, decisions aren't that hard to make. When you know what, this is from Disney himself, who got some other ties to some other stuff. If you do a little bit of study on Disney,
They crazy.
Family.
They about to come out with that movie like Saving Mr. Banks.
Disney, it is really serious, and it sounds like all conspiracy theories. But once you read a little deeply into it, you realize that the enemy has his claws in a lot of things that are mainstream right now.
Crazy.
That was it's unbelievable. So what are your values? Because the culture around you is changing. If you do not have set boundaries and set values that you say, okay, these are my non-negotiables. This is what I do, and this is what I don't do. This is where I go. This is where I don't go. This is what I eat, drink, taste, touch, handle. This is what I don't eat, drink, taste, touch, and handle. You have to have some values, and it doesn't mean you have to be ugly about it. All you got to do is live.
I make a discrepancy.
And when you live and put God this high up on you, and in your life, you looking ahead and being progressive and being firm in what you believe is gonna pull you automatically up from the rest. And people gonna say, man, something different about you. Yeah, it is. It's Christ. I'm just trying to be sanctified. That's not an ugly religious word. That really is. I'm just really trying to hold God as my number one priority. That's gonna set you apart. Not long dresses, high necks, long sleeves, no makeup, cotton stockings, no perm. That's not what sets you out. That makes you miserable and ugly.
That makes you a roller.
Yes, that makes you miserable and ugly. And those people had power back then, but it wasn't in the clothes. It was in the fact that God was the center of our community back then. Mm-hmm. He was. Our homes were built around the church. He was the church, houses were built around, and then we spread out from the church. Now there's a church on every corner, but it's in the city, and all our houses and our families are out here in the suburbs. You see what I'm saying? And now our house is too big and they're too far, and we don't go to church anymore. You see? That's the difference between now and then.
One or two discrepancies.
Uh-huh.
Okay. First discrepancy. You said you ain't gotta be ugly about your values, right? But what happened when you nice about it, and then people decide they want to walk all over you about it because you tried to say it nicely,
right?
And you tried to go about it nicely, and then people just want to jump on your nerves in a way that they know will get under your skin. and you sit there and you try to be nice and you try to keep your anger under management, and then it just somebody just so happen to do things that just so happens to make you angry, and it's because they have violated your values. How do you say something, still don't get ugly about it, but you know when you're nice about it, they don't quite hear you?
Okay. Now, is it just you and them, or are there other people? Because I'm putting.
It's something. Okay.
I'm putting myself in your shoes because people have a different affect when there's an audience.
Okay, it'll be you and them. Mm-hmm. They've treated their other friends like that, but when they get in the audience, they're like, no, it's you, it's you, it's you, it's you, it's you. They never look at them. When it's you and them, they'll treat you one way, treat another person that same way, and when all of you confront them, it's just like,
it's everybody else's fault.
It's everybody else's fault.
This is the scripture. Scripture says this, that we should be ready to give an answer for the hope that lies in us. You should be able to speak intelligently about what you believe. The problem with Christians is we don't like having those dialogues. We don't like even engaging in the conversation because, quite frankly, we really don't know the Bible, or we really don't know what we believe, or we just did this yesterday and those people know what we did. And now we're trying to get all spiritual. They're like, boo-boo, you tried it. I was there last night. I'm sorry. You see what I'm saying? So that we don't even like to engage. So when you do engage, the importance is how you live before you engage.
The thing, when it comes down to, okay, one thing I always say in my house, and this is something that everybody around me always hears me say, I am not perfect. I'm not the best communicator on the planet. I'm not the best person on the planet. But something, if I say I will not do this or I will do this, I stick to that. I'm not one of those people that will sit here and say, oh, I'm a Christian, so that means I've completely stopped cussing. I sit here, I will. That'll be the biggest lie I've told you.
Look, look at the eyebrows on you. You almost gave it to me right now. You were like, because right, I have to catch myself. You bite the bottom lip.
That'll be the biggest lie I've told you.
Right.
It's like I know me, but I know what I need to work with.
Right. Tongue is a fiery member.
It sure is.
It is.
But when it comes down to something, if I'm going to sit here and if I'm going to be, even as your friend, if I'm going to say to you, look, I don't necessarily believe in this, and I know I don't participate in this,
right,
and I know it's something that we shouldn't be doing, and I say it pretty much in the nicest way that I can find to say it,
right,
and then it's not like the person will come back and do something like minor. They find something to completely just jump on every nerve you've got. And you're like, I done tried to say this nice now.
I talk in peace and I talk in rod.
That's your test. And know that those days are going to keep coming until you get that anger under management.
Why Jesus got to test me with
until you get that tongue under control. The enemy's going to keep saying, he's going to keep throwing it up in your face. This is what my mama say, don't give a dog a bone. If you know dogs like bones, don't give them one. So if you know they're going to keep throwing the fact that, oh, you saying you don't do this, but you be having a little drink over here on the side on Saturday. If you know they're going to throw the drink up on Saturday, you may not have to have a drink. But you see what I'm saying? And it really does. Your question, I want to get, because you're not putting your hand up. I want to get to your question because you said, well, what do I do? I don't want to get ugly. And of course, the enemy, that's what he wants us to do, because then what happens is we get caught up in our emotions. And now it ain't even about what the topic is. It's about the fact that you won't stop yelling at me. No,
I'm not even like that. I'm a logical yeller. I'm a logical yeller. I'm not even one of those people that get up in my emotions. It's like once I'm the type of person, once you've gotten to the point where you've crossed the line logically with me, right? That's a whole nother level of disrespect. If I have come to you logically and said, aside from my feelings, aside from my emotions, right, logically what you did is wrong, and they looking at me like, nigga, right. So.
But see, but here's a scripture. Here it is. Here's a scripture. Answer not a fool according to his folly. Meaning, if you're in a conversation, you realize it's getting stupid. You know what? How about this? You go back to the drawing board. You go back to your corner. I go back to my corner. I'm gonna let you get your thoughts together, and I'm gonna be over here praying for you. You see what I'm saying? And then we come back. The very next verse. This is answer not a fool according to his folly, lest you be like him. Because when people walk by y'all fussing and carrying on, they don't know which one is a fool and which one is right, which one's wrong. They just see two people blowing up. The next verse says, answer a fool according to his folly, lest he be wise in his own conceit. That's not contradictory, even though it's two verses right next to each other. First it says, answer not a fool according to his folly, lest you be like him. The next verse says, answer a fool according to his folly, lest he be wise in his own conceit. That means give him what's right, because he's going to walk around thinking he's right until somebody comes and tells him the truth. So tell him the truth, but don't do it in a way that's going to make you look like a fool. Do you see what I'm saying? You can have an intelligent conversation. Once the conversation gets ignorant and stupid and dumb and what are you talking about? You just contradicted yourself. You know what? I love you so much. I'm going to back away because I love you. You see what I'm saying? Let me just back up. Because then what happens is people greasing their face up, pulling their earrings off, taking their stuff off.
I ain't got no earrings to take off.
Stuff, talking about what's going on.
To pull up.
Do you see what I'm saying? That's what happens. And we have to be so mindful because that's what the enemy wants us to do. He wants Christians to be at odds so that the unbeliever walks by and says,
That's what y'all about?
that's Christian. Wow, not on my schedule today. I mean, note to self, don't be a Christian. They suck.
I made that note to myself.
Do you see what I'm saying? That's what happens. Who are you? And see, you don't give a dog a bone. There might be some things that you know, here it is. If it causes your brother to stumble, if it causes your brother to be offended and stumble, if some things are lawful, they're not wrong, but it's not the best thing for this person over here who's still trying to figure out what a Christian is.